Atas nama Bapa, Putra, dan Roh Kudus. Amin. Sabda Allah, Putra Allah yang tunggal, ajarilah agar aku memiliki kemurahan hati sejati, agar aku melayani Engkau sepantasnya, agar aku memberi tanpa menghitung biaya, agar aku berjuang tanpa memperhatikan duka, agar aku bekerja tanpa mencari istirahat, agar aku mengobarkan diri tanpa memikirkan imbalan, asalkan aku tahu bahwa aku.
Abang Pacul toh.
Amin. Terima kasih. Saya
Oke, terima kasih Pak Robin sudah bersedia untuk membantu mimpin doa pada hari ini. Untuk sesi selanjutnya kita ada sedikit pengantar paparan statistik bagaimana dari proses kemarin panitia melakukan registrasi sampai pada akhirnya peserta yang terkumpul pada hari ini. Untuk pengantar statistik kita pada hari ini akan dibawakan oleh Bu Siska. Kepada Bu Siska, saya persilakan. Bu Siska,
Ya, baik.
oke.
Terima kasih atas waktunya. Selamat malam Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman semua. Apakah file sudah terlihat?
Sudah, Bu.
Oke. Ya, pada malam hari ini saya Siska. Saya akan menyampaikan terkait profil peserta dan statistik dari peserta Kaminarkon Indigo 2024. Yang pertama terkait demografi peserta. Jumlah peserta yang mendaftar pada Kaminarkon Indigo tahun ini ada 150 peserta, di mana sebagian besar merupakan perempuan, ada sekitar 76,7% perempuan, kemudian laki-laki 23,3%, dengan rentang usia minimal 20 sampai 76 tahun. Bapak Ibu bisa lihat dari data di diagram, jumlah peserta paling banyak pada usia sekitar 50 sampai 59 tahun itu ada sekitar 27,9%. Kemudian diikuti dengan 40-an, usia 40-an, lalu usia 30-an. Dan untuk latar belakang pendidikan dan pekerjaan peserta, di sini sebagian besar peserta merupakan karyawan swasta dan ibu rumah tangga, dapat dilihat dari tabel, kemudian diikuti ya, kemudian diikuti dengan beberapa profesi lain yang tidak tercantum, lalu ada juga profesional wirausahawan, pensiunan, pelajar mahasiswa dan pegawai negeri. Sebagian peserta telah menempuh pendidikan tinggi. Pendidikan tinggi di sini meliputi S1, S2, S3, kemudian ada sekitar 12% pendidikan dasar dan menengah ini dari SD sampai SMA. Kemudian ada mungkin ada yang menempuh pendidikan yang lain seperti diploma ataupun kursus yang tidak dicantumkan di Google Form. Kemudian untuk domisili dan sumber media informasi, sebagian besar peserta berasal dari Indonesia. Indonesia di sini meliputi Pulau Jawa. Pulau Jawa di sini ada dari Jakarta, dari Jawa paling barat sampai Jawa paling timur. Kemudian dari Sumatera ada dari Palembang, Deli Serdang, ada juga dari Batam, Kalimantan, ada dari Banjarmasin, Balikpapan, Pangkalan Bun, Bali, dan mungkin ada juga beberapa kota lain yang tidak disebutkan di sini. Lalu di sini juga ada peserta dari luar negeri, itu dari Malaysia, dari kota Sabah, dan dari Timur Tengah, dari Oman. Sebagian besar peserta memperoleh informasi kegiatan CCI dari grup WA, kemudian sebagian kecil lainnya dari teman dan media sosial. Kemudian untuk keikutsertaan peserta dalam program LRP Modul 1 dan Kaminarkon Indigo, dari peserta yang sebagian besar peserta belum pernah mengikuti program LRP maupun juga program Kaminarkon Indigo. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang
Dimasukin, Dek. Kok dimasukin?
program LRP maupun CCI tidak perlu khawatir karena di sini memang sebagian besar belum pernah mengikuti. Kemudian dari testimoni peserta yang sudah pernah mengikuti LRP maupun CCI, para peserta menemukan pengalaman baru dan merasakan relasi yang lebih dekat dengan Tuhan. Kemudian ini motivasi dari sebagian besar peserta, ini saya rangkum dari 150 peserta, apa yang mendorongku mengikuti kegiatan ini. Ada yang ingin belajar berdoa dari Ignatius Loyola, kemudian perdalam perkuat iman. Ada juga yang tertarik karena pengalaman orang lain, memang ada yang mau lebih dekat dengan Tuhan, merasa pengalaman hidupnya juga terkait dengan pengalaman Santo Ignatius Loyola. Ada juga yang sudah pernah mengikuti LRP, CCI, dan ingin merasakannya lagi. Dan tentu ada juga yang ingin menemukan kehendak Allah, menemukan panggilan hidupnya dari Allah. Kemudian, dambaan-dambaan dan rahmat apa yang kumohon selama mengikuti kegiatan ini dari sebagian peserta. Dambaan ini saya kumpulkan menjadi beberapa kelompok. Yang pertama, banyak peserta ingin mengalami buah-buah roh, kasih, damai sejahtera, pengampunan hati yang gembira. Kemudian ada juga yang memohon rahmat sikap hidup terutama dalam menjalani CCI atau dalam kehidupan sehari-hari, disiplin, taat, setia berdoa, kesabaran, ketekunan, kekuatan, terbuka. Ada juga yang memohon rahmat kesadaran, dapat menemukan dan merasakan kehadiran Tuhan, merasa dekat dengan Tuhan, peka akan suara Tuhan, dan juga mendambakan rahmat lain, rahmat kebijaksanaan, dewasa secara rohani, mengenali gerak batin, penyerahan diri, kesembuhan. Ada juga yang memohon keterlibatan, rahmat perutusan, terlibat dalam pelayanan. Kemudian ada juga yang memohon mau lebih dalam mengenal Tuhan dan memahami ajaran Santo Ignatius Loyola. Kemudian, bagaimana selama ini aku berdoa dari sebagian besar peserta, doa-doa yang biasa dilakukan, doa devosi, karena ini bulan Mei, banyak yang menyampaikan doa rosario, kemudian ada koronka, novena, devosi kepada Santo Santa, kemudian doa meditasi, kontemplasi, eksamen, lectio divina, doa pribadi. Di sini berarti semua peserta punya cara, doa merupakan cara kita untuk berkomunikasi dengan Tuhan. Jadi semua peserta di sini masing-masing memiliki cara masing-masing untuk menjalin relasi dengan Tuhan. Kemudian, bagaimana relasiku dengan Yesus? Siapakah Yesus bagiku? Setiap peserta di sini memiliki relasi personal dengan Yesus. Di sini saya bagi menjadi dua, Yesus sebagai Tuhan, Juru Selamat, Bapa. Ada juga yang menyampaikan lebih personal lagi, Yesus sebagai guru, teman, sahabat, kakak, ayah, orang tua, kekasih, penolong, dan motivator. Ya, saya mengakhiri presentasi pada malam hari ini. Selamat bersiara bersama Inigo dan para sahabat perempuan. Terima kasih, saya kembalikan ke MC.
Oke, terima kasih Bu Siska buat paparan statistik kita pada periode ini. Nah, Bapak, Ibu, dan rekan muda yang terkasih, di Kaminar Inigo tahun ini ada yang berbeda dari tahun sebelumnya. Pada kesempatan kali ini kita akan kedatangan Pater Emmanuel Alfonso. Beliau salah satu sutradara film Ignatius Loyola. Nah, di kesempatan ini beliau akan memberikan pengantar sebelum kita akan memasuki sesi kontemplasi melalui film. Nah, Bapak, Ibu, dan rekan muda sekalian, perlu saya informasikan bahwa Pater Emmanuel akan berbicara dalam bahasa Inggris. Jadi nanti jika Bapak, Ibu, dan rekan muda memiliki kesulitan atau kendala dalam bahasa, silakan menggunakan menu translate yang ada di ruang virtual Zoom pada hari ini. Oke, hello Father Emmanuel Alfonso, good night.
Halo,
Hello Father, thank you for joining in the opening of Cameder in Indigo 2024. provide a little information that Father Emmanuel is the director of the film Ignatius de Loyola, and on this occasion will provide an introduction which will be welcome choice before entering the film viewing sessions. Time and place are welcome for Father Emmanuel Afonso.
Thank you. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. Can I share?
Yes, Father, you can share or I can help.
Wait. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I was given 15 to 20 minutes. So I only have 15 slides, very short presentation. Thank you for making me your guest for tonight to talk about the film. So anyone here who has seen the film already? Everyone? No, not everyone, right? So I'm not going to, those who have not yet seen, don't worry, I'm not going to preempt. But I'd like to go through 5 scenes important when we talk about the relationship of Ignatius with women. So let me therefore begin. Okay, so if you noticed, for those who have seen the movie already, the movie opens with Ignatius as a child, 7 years old. His foster parents and Ignatius wait for the return of Don Beltran, his father. He is carrying the remains of one of his sons who died in a war, in a battle. It is a very sad and tragic scene. We find out that for some time now, for 7 years, Ignatius has stayed with his foster parents. He was given away because the mother died. Ignatius's mother died. So this is very important, my dear friends. Ignatius's mother died, they say, when he was only 1 year old or even 2 years old, or when she was giving birth to Ignatius. So this is very important. It would make a void in the heart of Ignatius and in his soul. It will create an imbalance in his life, even if that is corrected by the presence of a substitute mother figure. So one of the objectives of the movie is to show the human side of Ignatius of Loyola, because saints are, they're very holy. They are not accessible to ordinary people. It's like they're very far away. We cannot be holy like saints. But as one said, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. So we would like to develop for the film the human side of Ignatius. And he had a very troubled past. So, and we thought that many could relate, especially the young people can relate to Ignatius of Loyola if we present him as being so human, as a sinner even. So that was our objective. And in our research, we discovered that indeed Ignatius was who he was because of his family background and his early childhood, especially losing his mother at an early age. I'm sure you know people who have gone through that, who have experienced that, losing a parent when they were still very, very young. It changes their lives, their character, their personality. And so the loss of a mother had an impact in the life of Ignatius of Loyola. Okay? A woman figure, the most important woman figure in our life, of course, is our mother. To lose her early on, that changes a lot in us. For example, I'd like to share, like in Indonesia, we have many Filipinos who go abroad to work abroad. And these are parents and most importantly, these are mothers. They leave behind in the Philippines their children. And so there have been many psychological studies that attest that because of this, the children show social deviance or their psychological character is affected by the absence of the mother figure. So we can call this woman wound, and Ignatius had that, not just a mother issue, but a woman wound. Okay, so, and this will color, this will impact, this will affect his regard, his image of women, as you know. So, so we can say that this is one of, for those who saw the movie already. So aside from that objective, we wanted to portray Ignatius as a very human individual, and he had a troubled past. He had, in particular, a mother issue. He lost his mother early on. Aside from that, one of the themes, my favorite in the movie, is balance. So balance. For us Asians, that is very important. Yin and yang, man and woman. There has to be a balance, night and day. Everything is complementary or supplementary. Man, woman, night, day, etc. But because of that mother wound of Ignatius, his life became imbalanced. And we can say that the journey of Ignatius, our journey towards God, is a journey towards healing that imbalance. Okay, so that is one of the themes. For those who have seen the movie already, 7 times the coat of arms, the logo of the family of Ignatius, 2 wolves sharing a pot. Okay, 7 times, for 7 times that was discussed in the film. Each discussion is different from the other. And yet the word balance is always considered. Okay, the young wolf, here the young wolf and the old wolf had to work together to be able to stabilize the pot, that pot, because it's just swinging. They cannot eat. So both, they have to work together, yin and yang. The old wolf and the young wolf had to work together so that they can eat what's inside the pot. Okay, so that's balance. And in the movie, Ignatius is confronted by the Inquisition, and he mentioned this balance. He said, and I'd like to quote from the movie, one of the Inquisitor, Padre Frias, okay, he was accusing of Ignatius of wrong doctrine. You are teaching wrong doctrine. You are not schooled. You are not a priest. Okay, so Padre Frias accused Ignatius all of this. So Ignatius told him, he showed this coat of arms, this emblem of the family, Loyola, to Padre Frias, and pointed out the work of the 2 wolves. And Ignatius, and I'd like to quote, told him, Padre Frias, we are not enemies. Our church is a church of opposites, action and humility, fire and water. We are the balance that glorifies God. Okay? So the yin and yang, they are opposites, man, woman. They are there as balance of each other, and they are there to glorify God. So that's Ignatius of Loyola, and that's one of the themes. Okay, so therefore, my dear friends, you can look at the journey of Ignatius in this movie as a journey towards reacquiring this balance, because when he lost his mother, he was out of balance. Okay, so let's now go through the 5 scenes that you would see in the movie, establishing the relationship of Ignatius with women. Okay, the first scene is the childhood scene. I already mentioned that. Okay, the opening of the movie is Ignatius with his foster parents being ignored by his father, because his father blames him for the death of his mom, the death of his wife. Okay, so that creates a wound, spiritual wound in Ignatius. Okay, he is deprived of the presence of a woman, of his mother in his life, and that creates imbalance. That is the original wound of Ignatius. This is the first scene, okay, in the movie, for those who have seen it already. These are the foster parents of Ignatius. He was given to them when he was 2 years old or 1 year old by the father. Okay, so that's the original wound of Ignatius, the mother wound, the woman wound. And because of that, okay, the second scene is, if you remember, the second scene is this one. So Ignatius is all grown up. He's now a man. And in this scene, he was waiting for war, the war in Pamplona. And he was with this woman. He was with a prostitute. Okay. This shows how Ignatius grew up regarding women, treating women. For him, because of the mother wound, okay, he never had a mother to teach him how to treat women correctly. Okay, so because of the absence of a mother, his relationship with women had been affected. Okay, so his regard for women is that women are objects of his desire. Okay, like this prostitute. Okay, they are a plaything. And we also see that he had a dream in this scene about his ideal woman, Princess Catalina. But even that romantic image of a woman is still not a healthy regard of women. Okay? She is just part of his plan. He was the brave knight and he needed a lady, and that would be Princess Catalina. So there is no fair and real regard for the dignity of women. So that is the impact of the mother wound. It has caused imbalance and chaos in the character, the personality of Ignatius of Loyola. So moving on to the third. So his journey will bring him to healing this wound created by the absence of his mother. Okay, so in Loyola, after the war, of course, you know the story of Ignatius. He lost in that war in Pamplona. He was wounded, he was injured, he was brought back to his home in Loyola. And this is the beginning of the conversion and his healing, the healing of that woman or mother wound, because it is his sister-in-law who would take care of him. Okay, Doña Magdalena would take care of him. And many scholars, okay, would say that, in fact, if not for Doña Magdalena gave Ignatius 2 books to read while he was trying to recover, okay, from his wounds. Okay, he was asking for romance novels. You know, during the Middle Ages, they had many romance novels. But Doña Magdalena instead gave him 2 religious books to read. the life of Jesus Christ and the life of the saints. And initially, he did not want to read them because he was the knight in shining armor. He was the servant of the king, etc., etc. But he had no choice. So Doña Magdalena gave him these books, and that started, as you know, the conversion of Saint Ignatius of Loyola. For the first time in his life, he was able to contemplate on another world, on another kingdom of of different kinds of knight. The saints are knights also. Jesus Christ was a prince, prince of peace. So this changed the image of Ignatius about holiness, spirituality, the church. So he became interested, and precisely he owed that to Doña Magdalena, his sister-in-law, a woman. So the conversion of Ignatius was thanks to a woman, his sister-in-law. Okay, so this is his sister-in-law, Doña Magdalena, taking care of him and teaching him holy life, religion, the faith. Okay, next. This is just very fast. Next, of course, after his recovery, he finally decided to change his life. And so to leave his old life, his past life. So he said, I'm going to do a pilgrimage. Okay. Anyone here who has gone on to a pilgrimage in Jerusalem or in Europe? Ignatius did that. Okay. Even during that time, there were many pilgrimages. He said, I will walk and I will search God. And the first stop he had was in Montserrat, okay? In a town in Montserrat, which was known for Our Lady of Montserrat, the Virgin Mary, okay? And there Ignatius went to pray and to offer everything, his past life, okay? He went to confession there and offered his sword to the Our Lady of Montserrat, which symbolized that he was leaving behind his past life, including his old view of women, okay? So this is very important, my dear friend, because Mary is our icon. The complete woman, fullness of womanhood is in Mary. And Mary is the model of every woman, every Christian woman. And she is also the model of how we are to treat women. So Ignatius embraces this Mary and this new image of womanhood. Okay, so this is Ignatius, and that is Our Lady of Montserrat. He is praying to. Okay, so just as Mary became the willing partner of God in God's recreation of the world, God's project of salvation and redemption, she became the mother of our Lord. Ignatius, from here on, will see women in a different light. From here on, women will no longer be objects for Ignatius. Okay? Women will be co-workers, collaborators of Ignatius in his journey and his ministry. Okay, so that's very important. So the healing has begun. Okay, and finally, this is the last, the fifth scene is Manresa. So from Montserrat, with a new life, he went to Manresa. Okay, he went to Manresa and there did 9 months, 9 to 11 months of prayer. Okay, and that's where he wrote the spiritual exercises. And that's also where he started ministry work. And in that work, he befriended women. Okay, You will, I was told you will study each one of them, but the most famous would be this woman, the first patron of donor benefactress of the Society of Jesus, Doña Inés Pascual. Okay, so you will see her in the movie. Okay, she helped Ignatius when Ignatius was new at doing ministry work, begging alms, doing hospital work in Manresa. And what is very significant is now Ignatius regards women as co-workers. And Doña Inés Pascual will work with him even after he leaves Manresa and he goes to Paris to study. Inés Pascual would send him money for his education. And when he was already in Rome, he was already a priest, and the Society of Jesus was new. Inés Pascual would still send until she passed away, would support. So there's a writer in The Way. He said that eventually, okay, Ignatius partnered with women in 3 ways. Number one, he said patronage. So women, like in the Acts of the Apostles, you would read this, women would support the church by giving money, by giving donation. Inés Pascual was that, Doña Inés Pascual. Okay. Secondly, advocacy. Okay. Ignatius tapped women to promote him to kings, okay, to talk positively to kings about him and the Jesuits. For example, in Portugal, when Ignatius was having a problem with a prince, or a duke, he would go to a woman friend, and that woman friend, who is a noble woman, would talk to the prince, and the quarrel would end. So advocacy, to advocate for the Society of Jesus. That's the second form of ministry with women. And finally, direct ministry. In Rome, Ignatius would eventually put up the Santa Marta, Casa de Santa Marta, for prostitutes, to rehabilitate prostitutes and young girls who are trapped in prostitution as well. Okay, and he would partner with women. They would be the ones serving these prostitutes and giving them new life, finding them for them work, and so on and so forth. So that's the change of how Ignatius treated women. Before, they were just objects. They were just plaything. They were just, pawns in his life because of that wound, that original wound he had with the absence of a mother figure. But eventually, okay, through his conversion, with the help of our Lord and our Mary, Our Lady of Montserrat, he is able to have a new understanding of women, and women became his partners in the work of the Society of Jesus. So basically, that's it, my dear friends. So that's the story of Ignatius and how not just his conversion, but the conversion of his view about women and his treatment about women. So that's it. If there are questions, I'd be here for a while if you have questions. Father Robin, are you there? So I can send the text. I wrote it up also for you. I can send that. So the 5 scenes are very important. 5 scenes that show, that emphasize how Ignatius's relationship with women change over time.
Thank you, Father Rono. I have one question.
Yes.
Looks like from this movie, it is only from the good side between the relationship between Inigo and among all the women. Are there any other bad side?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Wondering.
So Ignatius, of course, had problems with women because he wanted the Society of Jesus, number one, to be mobile. We are missionaries. But before, during his time, the nuns are required to be cloistered. Very traditional. Women should not be going places, but just staying in a monastery, in a cloister. Ignatius said, we cannot have women congregation, okay, a Jesuit women congregation, because that will require Jesuit priests to stay in the monastery. His vision was for Jesuits to go around the world, to always be moving around. So that's one. One of his very good, benefactress. What's his name? Roser. Okay. Isabel Roser wanted to join the Jesuits, and because she was friends with the Pope, she told the Pope, or she forced the Pope for Ignatius to open a women congregation, and the Pope and Ignatius could not do anything. So for a while, for 1 year, there was a Jesuit woman congregation. Okay, so because of this very feisty, very strong woman, Isabel Roser. But when religious life became too serious for Doña Isabel Roser, she was the one who gave up because the church would require rules. So this woman congregation would have needed rules. Many women now, for example, cannot see themselves joining the nuns because there are many rules. Time for prayer, what clothes to wear. But Doña Isabel Roser, she was very rich. She wanted to be free of these rules. So after a year, she gave up. So she gave up. And so, and Ignatius went to the Pope and asked the Pope to close down that women congregation. Secondly, there was a woman, again, a benefactress of Ignatius of Loyola. She was helping Ignatius of Loyola. At 19 years old, okay, she became a Jesuit. She pronounced the vows. She was known as Juana. Juana. Her name was Juana. So, and she was, again, very powerful. She was the illegitimate child of Emperor Charles, and she wanted to become a Jesuit. She loved the Jesuits. How can you argue with the emperor? Ignatius could not, of course, argue with the emperor. So she was given vows, okay? But she passed away, and that was it. After, in her 30s, she died, but she was the only woman Jesuit, okay, who pronounced vows. So those are the two problematic times during the time of Ignatius, as far as his relationship with women are concerned. But in general, okay, women became supporters of the work of the Society of Jesus, and Ignatius would thank them to heavens. He wrote many letters to women, friends, and benefactors, and in these letters, you would see how appreciative, how grateful Ignatius was to them. And lastly, he was able to patch with, to reconcile with Isabel Roser. So when she was old, she had an exchange of letters with Ignatius, and everything was forgiven. Okay, so they reconciled eventually. That's a very long answer, Father Robin.
And one more thing to clarify,
Yes.
I'm not a father
Sorry.
to my kids. It's okay. Thank you.
Real father.
Yeah.
You're a father, yes.
Yeah.
If there are no more questions, I will leave you to your discussion.
Okay, maybe I just want to say thank you very much, Father Alfonso, Father Nono, for giving us insight about the movie and about the role of women in Ignatius' life, and also how Ignatius helped by many women. Your introduction will be very helpful for us at first during our time watching this movie, but also our journey with Ignatius and his friend in this next 2 weeks. We will reflect on the movie 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you for watching the movie. So, Robin, I sent you already the text. So you have my PowerPoint and the text.
Okay, good. Many thanks, Father Nono.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
night. Thank you, Father Emmanuel.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oke, jadi kita sudah memasuki tadi pengantar dari Pater Emmanuel tentang film Ignatius Loyola. Selanjutnya kita akan masuk juga pengantar yang akan disampaikan Romo Antonius Sumarwan terkait dengan dambaan sebelum kita nanti akhirnya menonton film. Jadi nanti disampaikan juga dalam kontemplasi dalam 5 langkah doa, terus juga film yang akan menjadi CCI 2024 dengan tema para sahabat perempuan di sekitar Indigo dan Serikat. Kepada Romo Marwan, saya persilahkan.
Terima kasih banyak atas pengantarnya, Onisa. Karena tadi Romo Nono sudah memberikan introduksi yang lengkap, saya langsung saja di sini mungkin sedikit ya. Kalau tentang tema Ignatius dan perempuan, ini sebenarnya muncul juga dari majalah Rohani edisi bulan Juli tahun lalu. Di situ memang saya menulis tentang Ignatius dan para perempuan, dan juga banyak rekan perempuan juga yang merefleksikan pengalamannya bersama Ignatius. Maka kemudian muncul ide Kaminarkon Inigo itu mengolah topik ini. Lalu tadi saya kira sudah dipaparkan oleh Father Nono tentang para perempuan yang secara khusus akan kita cermati dalam kisah Inigo tadi. Yang pertama tadi disampaikan Maria de Garin, ini adalah ibu angkat dari Inigo, dan selama kami Narkon Inigo kami mengajak teman-teman semua untuk mencermati para perempuan ini. Bertolak dari perjumpaan Inigo dengan mereka lah kita menawarkan pokok permenungan. Meskipun nanti teman-teman kalau ada tokoh-tokoh lain yang mengesan, tentu saja silahkan saja. Akan tetapi inilah tokoh-tokoh perempuan yang akan kita renungkan secara khusus dan akan kita lihat dalam film selama 2 hari ini. Maka nanti silakan cermati secara khusus tokoh-tokoh ini, tetapi kalau memang ada tokoh lain yang mengesan silakan saja. Tadi Maria de Garin sudah disebut, Magdalena de Araos juga sudah disebut. Ini adalah kakak ipar dari Inigo. Kemudian Ana tadi juga sudah ditampilkan, sang pelacur atau PSK, kemudian Bunda Maria tadi juga disebut, Donna Ines Pascual juga disebut, Princess Catalina tadi tidak disebut, tetapi nanti kita akan jumpai juga. Lalu ada Isabel Roser. Ini tadi muncul dalam diskusi bertolak dari pertanyaan Robin tadi. Di film nggak ada, tetapi ini akan kita renungkan kisahnya. Jadi nanti ketika nonton film silahkan mencermati paling nggak Pak tokoh-tokoh ini gitu. Bagaimana mereka berinteraksi dengan Inigo. Oke, tentang bagaimana menggunakan film sebagai kontemplasi atau menonton film sebagai kontemplasi, lengkapnya mungkin teman-teman bisa membaca dari apa yang sudah saya tulis di sini dan juga sudah dikirimkan saat mendaftar. Tetapi saat ini intinya ketika kita berdoa menggunakan film sebagai kontemplasi ada 5 langkah di sana. Ada langkah persiapan, doa pembuka, ada dambaan, perjalanan, ini yaitu nonton filmnya sendiri, kemudian ada percakapan. Nanti teman-teman nggak usah, nanti kita langsung saja lakukan itu. Saya tidak akan menjelaskan di sini. Tetapi yang perlu saya garis bawahi di sini adalah saat nonton film ini kita sebelum nonton film kita menyampaikan apa yang kita dambakan, yaitu mohon rahmat keterbukaan hati untuk belajar dari Santo Ignatius Loyola dan para sahabat perempuannya dalam saling mendukung untuk menjadi pribadi yang lebih dekat dengan Yesus dan siap terlibat dalam keputusannya. Gitu. Nanti di awal saya akan mengantar teman-teman untuk masuk ke nonton film. Kemudian setelah langkah 1, 2, dan 3, ya sudah kita memberikan seluruh diri kita untuk menonton film Ignacio de Loyola, kemudian membiarkan diri disentuh oleh kisah perjalanan Inigo dan persahabatannya dengan para perempuan. Lalu di akhir film kita akan diberi kesempatan untuk mengendapkan sebentar pengalaman kita menonton film, kemudian kita lakukan percakapan singkat dengan Allah. Ya, kita sampaikan apa yang kita rasakan, kualami selama nonton film ini kepada Tuhan sendiri. Kemudian ya sedikit pertanyaan refleksi di awal yang mungkin bisa membantu. Nanti teman-teman bisa mencermati siapa sahabat perempuan Inigo yang menyentuh bagiku malam ini. Lalu apa yang dilakukan atau diberikan oleh Inigo bagi para sahabat perempuan tersebut. Lalu apa yang juga diterima oleh Inigo dan sahabat perempuan tersebut. Lalu baik juga kita renungkan bagaimana aku melihat Allah yang berkarya demi kebaikan Inigo dan para sahabat perempuannya melalui perjumpaan tersebut gitu. Kemudian baik juga nanti direnung-renungkan apakah kisah Inigo yang kutonton malam ini mengingatkan aku akan seseorang atau suatu peristiwa. Lalu apa yang Tuhan kerjakan dalam diriku lewat pribadi atau peristiwa tersebut. Oke, saya kira demikian pengantar dari saya. Lalu saya akan mengajak teman-teman untuk masuk ke dalam doa. Setelah dambaan nanti kita langsung menonton film. Kemudian setelah film selesai untuk bagian yang pertama malam ini, nanti kita ambil jeda sebentar. Saya akan juga pandu teman-teman untuk mengendapkan, melakukan percakapan dengan Tuhan, lalu dilanjutkan dengan percakapan rohani. Baik, maka langsung saja kita siapkan diri untuk masuk dalam kisah Ignatius. Sekarang aku menempatkan diriku siap berdoa menggunakan film Ignatius de Loyola. Aku menyadari Tuhan menyambutku sebagai seorang sahabat yang penuh kasih. Aku haturkan terima kasih atas penerimaannya yang penuh kasih. Kunikmati kebersamaanku bersama. Dan ya Tuhan, kami mohon anugerah-Mu agar kami dapat mengarahkan seluruh diri kami kepadamu. Dengan demikian segala yang kami lakukan, kegiatan untuk melihat film ini menjadi pujian dan pengabdian bagimu semata. Dan terima kasih Tuhan, Engkau memberikan kesempatan kepada kami untuk bersama-sama belajar dari Santo Ignatius. Maka secara khusus kami mohon anugerah-Mu, berilah kami rahmat keterbukaan hati untuk belajar dari Santo Ignatius Loyola dan para sahabat perempuannya dalam saling mendukung untuk menjadi pribadi yang lebih dekat denganmu. Dan sehingga mereka pun juga siap dalam perutusan, terlibat dalam perutusan. Bantulah kami agar lewat kisah Ignatius dan para sahabatnya, kami pun juga dapat mengenali bagaimana Engkau berkarya dalam diri kami masing-masing. Dan sekarang marilah kita dengan tenang, dengan penuh keterbukaan dan juga sukacita melihat film Ignacio de Loyola. Silahkan filmnya bisa diputar. Kita ambil waktu sebentar untuk mengendapkan pengalaman kita. Kita ingat kembali adegan-adegan tadi, tokoh-tokoh yang kita saksikan berjumpa dengan Inigo, khususnya tokoh-tokoh perempuan. Dan kita sampaikan kepada Tuhan. Pengalaman kita menonton, adegan yang menyentuh, maupun insight yang muncul, ataupun juga ingatan pengalaman pribadi saat kita menonton tadi. Kita sampaikan kepada Tuhan apa yang kita alami, perasaan kita, maupun juga dambaan kita, apa yang hendak kita mohon dari Tuhan. Tuhan, terima kasih Engkau terus membentuk kami lewat perjumpaan kami dengan sahabat, saudara, orang tua di sekitar kami, khususnya sahabat, saudara perempuan ibu kami. Kami mohon terus, ya Tuhan, semoga kami dapat merasakan kasih-Mu dan juga tuntunan-Mu lewat perjumpaan kami dan para perempuan di sekitar kami. Bapa kami yang ada di surga, dimuliakanlah nama-Mu, datanglah kerajaan-Mu, jadilah kehendak-Mu di atas bumi seperti di dalam surga. Berilah kami rezeki pada hari ini, dan ampunilah kesalahan kami, seperti kami pun mengampuni yang bersalah kepada kami. Dan janganlah masukkan kami dalam pencobaan, tetapi bebaskanlah kami dari yang jahat. Amin. Dalam nama Bapa dan Putra dan Roh Kudus. Amin.
Oke, terima kasih untuk Romo Marwan untuk sesi pengantar dari Romo dan juga tadi sesi kontemplasi film Ignatius de Loyola bagian pertama. Sekedar informasi untuk Bapak Ibu dan rekan-rekan muda, mengingat karena tadi ada tambahan sesi dari Romo Nono dan juga keterbatasan waktu kita. Jadi untuk malam hari ini sesi percakapan kita akan kita tiadakan di malam hari ini. Jadi Bapak Ibu atau rekan muda setelah kita merefleksikan film Ignatius Loyola, jadi film ini bisa diindahkan lagi malam hari ini sebelum tidur ataupun besok pagi sampai kita akan memasuki sesi sharing di besok malam. Nah, untuk lebih meneguhkan film yang sudah 1 jam, kurang lebih 1 jam kita tonton, Bapak Ibu atau rekan muda bisa sharing di grup WA Buah Peziarahan. Jadi informasi juga untuk pengumuman singkat hari ini bahwa kegiatan kita akan dilakukan besok hari lagi di jam yang sama jam 7 dan materi pengantar hari ini akan diupload di YouTube. Jadi Bapak Ibu dan rekan muda bisa melihat di YouTube lagi untuk lebih meneguhkan lagi. Oke, Bapak Ibu dan rekan muda, sebelum kita tutup sesi kita hari ini, kita akan foto bersama terlebih dahulu. Bisa dibantu untuk dihidupkan kameranya. Dan tim panitia, saya persilakan untuk sesi dokumentasi.
Ada 3 halaman ya. Minta tolong yang masih di off cam bisa open kamera. Oke. Mulai dari halaman pertama. Silakan yang masih off kamera bisa di open cam. 1, 2, 3. Halaman kedua. 1, 2, 3. Halaman ketiga. 1, 2, 3. Oke, semua terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih Bapak Ibu sekalian. Jadi sebelum kita menutup rangkaian kegiatan kita di hari pertama ini, mari kita tutup dengan doa. Mohon dibantu Ibu Novia untuk memimpin doa pada kesempatan malam ini.
Grace ini bisa bantu memberikan doa penutup?
Oh ya, baik. Terima kasih Romo, Bapak Ibu sekalian serta teman-teman semuanya. Kita tutup perjumpaan malam hari ini dengan doa penutup dan dilanjutkan dengan berkat dari Romo Sumarwan. Demi nama Bapa, Putra, dan Roh Kudus. Amin. Allah yang maha murah dan maha cinta, anugerahkanlah kepadaku dambaan yang besar untuk memahami dan mengalami kebenaran tentang dirimu, ciptaanmu, diriku, dan relasiku denganmu. Bantulah aku agar siap membuka diri bagimu dan karyamu dengan jiwa besar dan hati rela berkorban. Aku persembahkan seluruh ingatan, pemahaman, kehendak, kebebasan, dan segala yang kumiliki, agar engkau gunakan seturut kehendakmu yang maha kudus. Tuntunlah aku untuk masuk dalam keheningan yang dalam, kaya dan penuh rahmat, di mana tak ada sesuatu pun dapat mengalihkan perhatianku dari kehadiranmu. Aku mohon agar engkau menyatakan dirimu kepadaku pada 2 minggu mendatang, dan mengobarkan diriku dengan syukur, cinta, dan pujian. Tunjukkanlah kepadaku jalan yang membuat aku dapat mengabdi engkau dengan lebih baik. Amin. Mohon berkat dari Romo,
Tuhan beserta kita,
Dan selamanya.
sekarang dan selama-lamanya.
Allah yang Maha Kasih yang telah mengundang kita untuk berjalan bersama Ignatius dan para sahabat perempuannya, dan juga bersama dengan Allah sendiri dalam peziarahan ini selama 2 minggu datang, melimpahkan berkat kepada kita semua dalam nama Bapa dan Putra dan Roh Kudus. Terima kasih.
Romo Marwan.
Terima kasih,
Terima
Romo.
kasih, Wen.
Terima
Terima
kasih, Romo.
kasih,